Welcome. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Saba. It's a great opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to be here this morning.
Okay.
I am here, because of it is a momentous day. There's something quite dramatic that's going to be happening today. We all know. I mean, it's been around for quite a while now. Everybody's talking about this day. We have quite anticipated it for a little while, and it's here. I woke up this morning to a lot of jubilations in the community. I was surprised. Where I stay is in a district that some of the pundits have generally regarded as, not so aligned towards His Excellency the President. But I think that dynamic is beginning to change. But I also think that the pundits were wrong. They probably might have underestimated the young people, and it seems as if this election is going to be decided by the young people.
The first time voters.
Yeah, not necessarily, but just maybe some of them second time, some of them third time.
Okay.
The greater majority of Liberian voters are between the ages of 18 and 35, and it seems as if all of that demographic is just so passionate about His Excellency the President, and so a lot of them woke up this morning. I mean, if I did, woke me up. So we were just awaking to the sound of Bakuba praise song, Bakuba music, and people jubilating and dancing. And I can tell that regardless of what the state of the weather is going to be today, people are going to be out, in spite of those conditions. So I'm happy to be here, Summer.
Many thanks, Boyaka. And of course, we also have a member, a very staunch member of the We Are International Movement, Josephine P. Johnson. Madam Johnson, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you very much, Sabo. And I'd like to say good morning to the people of Liberia.
Okay.
And today is a national holiday. The blue wave is coming outside today. In fact, people started gathering on the field by 5 o'clock this morning. So we are going to turn Liberia blue because of the things that President Weah, have done in the lives of the people of Liberia. So today, the people got to come saying they say we outside. We are outside today.
We outside. Now, Boyaka, let me come to you. Yes, I know it's not the the usual form of interviews. We'll be taking calls from all over. Yeah. But looking at today, from your perspective, the We Are Intellectual Movement, how do you think this program is designed? Are we going to see maybe His Excellence on the float, or whatever going to happen?
Well, I mean, anything could possibly happen. What I know is going to be, what has been happening over the last couple of weeks since elections were deemed, since campaign were deemed open, has been quite unconventional. His Excellency has been walking the streets of Monrovia and other county capitals. So you could expect the unexpected today. Okay. He's one of the leaders who likes to mingle with his people. In other jurisdictions, in other countries, some of the times we've seen images emerge on social media of other leaders sort of caged, in order to move the streets.
Yeah, sure.
I know you know that specific picture that I'm talking about. But what I anticipate to be happening today would be the convergence of people from every walks of life. People are going to be coming from the east, from the west, most of them from Montserrat, but other parts adjacent. We expect people as far as from Maigibi, from Grand Bassa County, people from Birmingham as well, people from Cape Mount, all of them going to be coming together to just send a round of, a resounding message of approval, of the policies of His Excellency the President, because there's been all this vilification that has happened for quite a long time. There's been a group of people that just dedicated themselves to just spewing out all kinds of lies and vilification of His Excellency, but it seems as if that hasn't dented his momentum. You see all over the street. I was driving here this morning and I was quite surprised that, in spite of the fact that it was relatively early, we began to see people already donning their George Weah and CDC paraphernalia, whether it is the berets, whether it is the cap, the t-shirts or whatever. Other people are already dancing in their various locales. So I can tell that today's going to be momentous. Today's going to be huge. We might not have had anything as precedented as what might occur today from the local things. So we just want to urge people, and that's why we're here specifically, the We Are Intellectual Movement.
Yeah, surely.
We want to urge Liberians that, everywhere you are, first and foremost, the president has been quite keen on ensuring that all of this thing is very peaceful. So we want you, when you go out there, you should be peaceful, but you should come out. Come out in your numbers. Come out to praise the president. There's been a lot of things happening in this country. People have been like, oh, the men are doing this, the men are doing that, poverty, this, they hard time, blah, because that's the only message they feel they can win him by, unfortunately. But Liberians know better. Liberians have been seeing the transformation in their lives over the period of 5 to 6 years. They've seen, the level of interventions he's made, whether it is with the educational sector, which had a remarkable transformation, by the way. We're beginning to see some of the results.
Before that, it used to be described as a mess.
It was described by the Unity Party administration as a mess. In other words, the level of the sheer nature of the crisis overwhelmed them that they could not find a solution in all of that. But it is the person who was characterized as not having a level of sophistication and all of that. He is the one that has changed that mess into best. Now Liberian students are performing quite well, internationally, all of that. But one of the messages I wanted to state here today is, I wanted to emphasize here today is that message of peace. His Excellency has had a steady hand on the shape of affairs of Liberia for quite a while, for about
close to 6 years.
You don't want to rock that boat.
Not at all.
Especially if the alternative that is being provided, or one of the alternative at least, it doesn't seem like it is a stable alternative either. It seems like, they're already beginning to talk about secession, which is quite unfortunate. Because if you haven't even taken power and you're already beginning to talk about who's going to succeed your standard bearer, or who's going to be doing the actual work, that is something quite worrying. That is something to worry about.
Surely.
So Liberians, we've had, you can talk about X, Y, and Z, the politics of things and what have you, but we've had peace. We've had the ability to freely express ourselves. Anybody can wake up in the morning when you feel dissatisfied about the government or what is happening. You can call the radio and vent your anger at the president or any official of government without looking over your shoulders. But some of the actors we're beginning to see, in the folks that want to call themselves an alternative and want to replace His Excellency
or rescuers,
they have a track record. They have a track record, and I'm glad to talk about that during the course of our conversation this morning. But I just want to encourage Liberians. You might be waking up to maybe some chatter over your roof, maybe some clanging and all of this stuff, noticing rain or what have you. I was in it. Don't let anything stop you. You need to come out. Your friends are already up and ready. They're moving. Today's going to be a huge. We're just going to be hanging out there, having fun. People might be converging from all parts of the country. There might be local officials of the CDC receiving them at various designated points. I'm going to name them later on during the course of our conversation. The actual point of convergence is the ATS, but I figure people are going to be all over Monrovia.
Surely.
Whether it is at the CDC headquarters or the campaign office, or maybe just hanging out at a local spot or what have you, come out. Don in your CDC T-shirt, your We Are Taylor 2023 T-shirt, and show that you approve of His Excellency the President.
Surely. Okay, so let's hear this tape, and it'll be read back quickly.
It's a score of fantastic goals. So I love you. Besides that, I was struggling. If I walk here and fall, I'll deal with what you're doing. I fell down many times in my own level. I fell down on my face, on my back, on my side. But still, I made it. To continue to make you feel that because you cannot grow up in the mansion that you cannot be leader. Don't make them do that to you. to school, so tomorrow they can tag you. They can say, oh, you are not educated. Because everything we have in our life, you are not educated. And that's how we are preparing you, this generation. Must be prepared. So the future generation will come and take over.
And this is the contradiction, Walker and Johnson, Miss Johnson. Often, like the president just said, people say you are not educated. He's not educated, and so he will have, performed, the rate he has performed. This whole thing about education, and that was the major campaign message. In fact, that they were all spewing that we don't want anybody who's not educated. But Barker, looking at what he has done, and Madam Johnson, let's go back to some of the major interventions this president has made in the economy. Let's talk about the economy first.
First and foremost, let me dispel the notion that the president is educated. That is the rhetoric of the opposition. They've peddled that for quite a long time, hoping that the population will buy it. But firstly, President,
unsuccessfully too.
Unsuccessfully. Let me emphasize that His Excellency has a master's degree in management and whatever. And that is why he references that quite often. But also, he has a lifelong education, practical knowledge and experience, and has been president for 6 years. Their level of education should be reflected in your effectiveness. Not all of the different status symbol and whatever. Just because you're called a counselor or a doctor doesn't mean that you are quite efficient, as you want the world to believe.
Yeah, surely.
What happened to this country? We are one of the oldest independent nations. For 133 years, we had the True Party leading our country. Where did it take us? Did we have a greater degree of improvement in the level of infrastructure?
No,
absolutely not. We are poor in comparison, to our neighbors. Look at Ghana. Look at Cote d'Ivoire right here.
Surely.
Some of the times you go to
Abidjan. Rwanda recently.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
You go to Abidjan, you think you're in Europe. So our leaders have failed us over the years. And then following the True Party, there was a new group of people who came on the scene, a new bourgeois, calling themselves a political establishment that excluded those people now that were from the slums, the relegated neighborhoods of poor neighborhoods of Liberia and all of that, where President Weah came from. Those leaders themselves didn't do well for the country.
They didn't do well.
They didn't prioritize infrastructure development. Instead, they prioritized paying their kindreds high salaries. They imported their friends and cronies from the U.S. and then just paid their astronomical salaries.
Under what they call it, the senior executive
program. So basically what that was, they were saying that we didn't have enough incompetent people in this country.
Surely.
What that meant is that the people that are in the country, they didn't look like them. They didn't feel that those people were part of them. So they had to bring in their friends and brothers from the States and pay them astronomically. And that is why most of our budget, during the Unity Party regime, was consumed by the payment of salaries. A significant chunk of the budget was consumed by the payment of salaries, because we barely had a $600 million budget. I think we're hovering around 500. Domestic revenue was about 300 to 400 million. And by the way, we have expanded the collection of domestic revenue. This is the man they say not educated.
Yeah, not educated.
We have expanded the collection of domestic revenue to somewhere around 600 million. In other words, we're not depending on foreigners to give us money. We're collecting money from right here.
Yeah.
Through some of the interventions the president has made.
He's found all the community roads.
Yeah, he's reformed the Liberian Revenue Authority. They are making some interventions, broadening the tax base and ensuring that we can collect adequate amount of revenue, local revenue, domestic revenue, to finance our level of development. And we've cut down the payroll. So let me tell you something. In 2005, the total number of people in the civil service was something around 28,000. 28,000. That was in 2005, before the Unity Party took over. So when the Unity Party took over, that number rose, and as a result, because of 28,000, the wage bill was around $100 million. So we're using $100 million annually to pay civil servants. But when the Unity Party took over, they started that whole right-sizing policy and what have you, dropping people and bringing in new Unity Party partisans and all of that. The wage bill tripled in size. It moved from 28,000 to somewhere around 67,000 employees in the civil service.
From 28
from a 28 to around
67
to 60 or more, 67 in fact. 1,000 employees.
Quite a huge jump.
Quite a huge jump. That was the remarkable, quite unfortunate jump in it. And then, correspondently or concomitantly, it affected the wage bill. So the wage bill increased from $100 million to somewhere around $290 million. So can you imagine, from $100 million we're paying, annually, the whole year, because some of the time every month we can use around $20 million. So the whole year we're using something around $100 million in 2005. When the Unity Party took over, by the time they left in 2017, we started using somewhere around $290 million. So obviously, every government will do some adjustment in the civil service and all of the different stuff. So the CDC administration had a marginal increase of something around 3,000 to 4,000 employees. So that's when the civil service came to 70,000 employees, because there was some adjustment here, there, and yonder. And then the wage bill kept increasing. So that's brought about something called that our folks like to make politics out of the harmonization process. Because when we started using $300 million of the money that we're collecting annually in the country from taxes and all of that, just to pay salaries, and then we'll go to international donors and say, give us money. The person, no, we're not going to give you money.
Yeah.
Because basically you're giving that money you just giving that money out free. You got, people that are in the government making $20,000, $15,000, $25,000 monthly. Even in the U.S., we don't make that much. So that was when this harmonization came about. But even in the very civil service, those who are not making as high, but were favored by ministers, the ministers had something at their disposal called the special allowance. So that special allowance, they had a salary, the regular salary, the base salary, then they had special allowance. So the special allowance was at the disposal of each head of agency,
can you imagine?
the minister. So if the minister favors you, he likes you, he will give you higher amount of money. But then the same secretary doing the same amount of work in another department in the same ministry will not be making the same amount of money. So say one secretary making $1,500, another secretary making $300. So we had to fix it. And we also had to follow President Weah's mandate. The president said nobody's going to make more than a certain threshold. I think the ministers were $5,000, and he had to cut all of the different pay down. So whereas under President Selly, if we have ministers making upwards of $8,000, some of the SOEs heads were making, maritime for instance, $25,000. He cut all of that down and said that's not going to continue. So that brought about harmonization, and the money that we save is, that's some of the money that we're using towards the building of community roads.
Yeah.
For instance, the Ganta to Saklepi road. Can you believe not many roads in Liberia was entirely financed, were entirely financed by the government of Liberia? Not many. But this one is a major structural road, entirely financed
by the government.
By the government of Liberia. I can cite other neighborhood roads. Look at what is happening in the rehab end. We have a lot of different intersectional, bypasses and what have you now that have been paid by His Excellency. Those are places that people never had. You either get in the traffic in the morning or you stay home.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot of different alternative routes. And this is just rehab. Look at Johnsonville. The last time I went to Johnsonville, that last stretch of road, so previous administration, literally sort of forgot that there were people at the lower end of the economic ladder who were needed, who were suffering, who were struggling, that needed help.
Yeah.
They needed help with the pavement of their community roads. They needed help with the fixing of their market buildings. They needed help with their children's tuition fees and all of those different stuff.
As well.
What they were discussing was basically for they and their peers, at the time, talking about fancy, concepts and all of that. A poverty reduction strategy, which basically took like 6 years after they brought in all kinds of different experts, made a lot of money. For 6 years, they didn't design a strategy. Then they waited the following 6 years when they finally made a strategy. They didn't come to fruition. Then it's all kinds of different concepts. But Weah is not a fan of concepts. And he wants practical action to be taken as far as development is concerned.
And Bawka, this is an administration that Ambassador Joseph Yuma Bawka served in then as vice president.
And said nothing. So as a matter of fact, the last time Ambassador Bawka was on one of the radio stations, it was Truth FM. He went on Truth FM and did an interview, and I think following that interview, I think the folks realized that he probably doesn't need to do a lot of different radio interviews now because like his vice tender bearer stated, he's not so mentally alert. So because that's what his vice tender bearer, I didn't say that. Mm-hmm. That's what Jeremiah Combs said. So they were asking a couple of questions on the eve of a major election. One of the least things you want to make people believe is to have some sort of validation that actually you don't express much gratitude to people who help you. Mm-hmm. Because this has been lingering for a long time. All of the people who've been around you have complained about ingratitude. The Henry Costa, the Alexander Cummings, the Benana Ure, the Tilia Ure. Tilia singularly founded the how do they call it? JMB, something, some group that she founded with her own resources. The US, in fact, took Bawka out of here to Nigeria on a private jet. He jettisoned all of these people. He dropped them, essentially. Basically telling them, you can go. And Prince Johnson said it himself. After these people spent years nurturing, helping, sponsoring, giving Bawka the moral support, essentially revived the Unity Party when it was dead following the 2017 elections. He dropped them after just a couple of months of Prince Johnson nudging, and then told them that he's willing to dance with the devil. So basically, he's telling us that because of his desperate quest for the presidency, even though he knows that he's not well, by his own admission, he carries a pacemaker. He said that himself. I'm not saying that. He said in front of T-Max Gelate when he was asked that he uses a pacemaker. If you don't know what it is, it's basically an instrument in your heart that is helping you to beat. This is not one of the politics that we talk about. Oh, the man sick, the man are sick. He himself said he carries a pacemaker. So the rigors of the presidency is something that will, require you to be physically active and mentally alert. You don't have to be moving between the office and the hospital, all of those different stuff. That can be quite detrimental. And then the people might end up voting for somebody, and then the other person might do a job that they didn't vote for. So that's the skepticism a lot of people beginning to express right now. Mm-hmm. When Prince Johnson, for instance, comes on the radio and say, it is time for Nimba. And by the way, Prince Johnson is not speaking for the Nimba people.
No.
The Nimba people are wonderful people. He's not speaking for them. There are quite a lot of Nimba people that disagree with Prince Johnson's rhetorics. I can cite the Tier 1 Gonglo, the Edith Gonglo Ware, the Garrison Yellow, the Melvin Yellow, the Willis Sowa Dona, all of those different people. A lot of Nimbayans are tired of Prince Johnson.
Yeah, surely.
He's been on the scene for 18 years. It's time for another person. So basically what he's asking the Nimbayans to give him for doing relatively nothing for them is to give him 27 years at the helm of authority over them. 27 years.
To their own detriment as well.
To their own detriment.
Yes.
So when he say, it's time for the Nimba people, that is the level of rhetorics he's used to, play on people's emotions and their sense of belongingness to a particular ethnic group and all of that, and say, I don't want to fight for you. There are a lot of people willing to do all the different people fought. They were, they are the pride of the Nimba people. This man is seeking, he's self-seeking. In one election cycle, he supported several candidates. So just 9 months ago, he was supporting George Weah.
Yeah.
He in fact denigrated the former vice president that he's supporting now. He said the man was using battery. Mm-hmm. In fact, he called him a battery total. Mm-hmm. Didn't he do that move?
An ingrate as well.
An ingrate, a battery total. And at the very person he's supporting now. So you can tell that these people want to plunge us into something, quite horrific. We need to be very careful. His Excellency, we can talk about all the potential, all of the possibilities that exist out there. The difference with them and President Weah is that we've seen the leadership of President Weah. We've experienced it for 5 to 6 years. We know exactly what he preaches. He's an open book.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, other President Weah, I can blast at him, you're not doing anything, you're not doing nothing. I can walk, I can go to Calabash in the net after blasting at him, nobody going to follow me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's the difference with him and them. Theirs is unpredictable. We don't even know who's going to be leading. Whether it's Joseph Boaga or Jeremiah Koo or Prince Johnson. So that's the difference. We don't want that. We've gone past the 90s where we have power sharing government. When we elect a leader, we need that leader to be the leader that we elected.
Yeah.
Not somebody being a puppet, a master, pulling the strings from behind the scene. So that is the danger that exists with some of the folks in the opposition. The difference between them and George Weah is that he's a relatively compassionate, somebody who's practical, who believes in people that are down the economy. That is why, unlike in other countries, you will see that those who support the leader of the country, basically in other countries, you see the people that support the president, the incumbent, will be people of certain economic class.
Yeah.
They'll be way up there. But unlike George Weah, the people that support him are people who way down there. People who in the slum communities, West Point, Newcutown, Claratown, Gibraltar. Those are the kind of people who...
They're ordinary people.
They're all listening to the clip you play, and he said, I want those people to believe that they too, or their sons and daughters, can be leaders of this country.
Surely.
That if I leave, he's on the trail now, he's been saying, I want to leave a legacy. Now, if a leader is concerned about leaving a legacy, that's a good leader. He's not concerned about the trappings of power. In other words, riding a fancy car, security around me, and this and that. No, that's not what he's concerned about. He's concerned about leaving a legacy. And he said, I'm not going to be greedy to run for Churchill. In fact,
he's not concerned about perpetuality.
Yeah. That's what he said. He said, I'm not going to be greedy to run for Churchill. In fact, he made that clear on the campaign trail up country. He said, I'm not that greedy. I'm not going to run for a Churchill. I want to leave a legacy. I want people to know that their children, who they born, who were in the marketplace with them, like his mother, took him to the marketplace, who plays soccer, like there are other sportsmen who live in the slum communities and all that, who live in poor neighborhoods, can rise up to become president of Liberia.
You're listening to the SMS directed on the ELBC. Madam Johnson, how do you this day is a day that like you said earlier, we are outside. Now, speaking to people who are still home, and if not, they haven't yet prepared themselves to come out, what do you say to them? What do you tell them, encouraging them to come out?
Okay. So, before I start, I'd like to say that let me just share this experience a few days ago around the JFK hospital. So, I was passing, and I heard the people arguing on the road. And some were saying, we will vote George Weah, and some were saying, we will vote Joseph Boaga. So I stopped, like I usually do. I stopped, I boiled roasted corn and water. So I then got into the conversation, and I started to give them reasons why we should vote President Weah on October 10th. So a guy who was seated there looked me in the face and he said to me, Madam, can you please tell me why I should vote for President Weah on October 10th? And I said, yes, I can give you so many reasons why you should vote for President Weah and why you should come outside on September 7th to launch this president campaign. So he was like, okay, go ahead. So I started naming. And the president has done so many things.
Surely.
So you don't expect me to end in 5 minutes. So I started naming, and the guy was like, no, Madam Johnson, you take it all the time. So you need to stop so that I can tell you what JMB did that you should vote for him. So I told him, no, you told me to tell you what the president has done that will make me convince you to vote for him.
Surely.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. You don't need to cut me off because this president has done a lot Don't get it twisted. I will leave no stone untouched. So I started listening, and the guy got pissed up and he left. Later, we met in JFK, and he told me, he said, Paku, you strong. In fact, partisan. So I said, oh, you my partisan now? He said, I said, okay, kudos. So we together. So today, seditions, no seditions. You know, the president have done a lot that the lives of the Liberian people, you know, have changed. People have benefited a lot. Like our leader said yesterday, I pay my daughter's school fees from kindergarten to 12th grade. Don't you think I'm able to pay the WAS fee? You are speaking for yourself.
Surely.
The president have paid the WAS fee for all 12th graders in the Republic of Liberia. So if you think that you are able to pay your child WAS fee, my Mary selling better boy in Radical Market is unable to pay her child WAS fee.
Surely.
My Mary is unable to pay her child WAS fee. She's unable to send her child to University of Liberia. So it means that what President Weah is doing is affecting the lives of the common people, because this is a man who was raised in the slum of Liberia. So today, like Minister Barker rightly said, the momentum is very high. People that are supporting this government are the ordinary people. Let me tell you something. Like he said, if this government now had the support of the ordinary people, today you will see so BP people around him. You will see only the BP people talking about President Weah and maybe going to run his campaign. But you got the ordinary people. In fact, they slept on the street last night.
Surely.
They are so much, you know, the momentum is high to the extent that they cannot wait to get at ATS and receive His Excellency Dr. George Manning Weah. This is a man that we believe he was given 6 years. In that 6 years, he have done so much that have changed the lives of the common people.
Surely.
Man matter who could not buy or cement bear is a whole horse owner today because of President Weah, because of the Purple Housing Unit. Tell me, are these not reasons for the Liberian people to vote President Weah? Are these not reasons for them to come outside today and celebrate him? So that's why we are saying this government have got tangibles, and it is from that basis we are going to come outside today to launch his campaign, and we will come outside on October 10th to re-elect him, because he was given just 6 years. And what he has done in the 6 years period, I can safely say to you that it has surpassed what other government have done. Other government were given more years, yet they did not achieve what this government have achieved. So we are saying to the Liberian people that if this government can achieve this in 6 years, it means that when this government is given additional 6 years, there will be a lot of changes in the lives of the Liberian people.
Surely.
There will be more purple housing units built all around Liberia. There will be more roads connection all around Liberia. The vast fees of our students will continue to be paid. People will continue to have free tuition at our public university, University of Liberia. More markets will be built. So today, all our market money, you know, you get your little with a market, and you know what the president did in your life, because the people used to be selling under the rain. The sun will come and the sun will dry them. Today, President Weah changed that. He built markets, modern market structures. Today, they are selling in a comfortable place. So today, I believe, and we are urging them to come outside, because there are too many reasons, to celebrate this president, too many reasons to re-elect this president, too many reasons to continue to campaign for this president. Somebody was telling me yesterday that you say they were just been here, that war breaking in the country, and actually we are sending just to Jamaica Resort. So I asked him, Oma, you know me, saying the whole campaign started, I can't be in my car again, park my car. Yeah. I in keke,
Why?
I on motorbike, I in taxi, All to the lapa be doko bushade. Anywhere I tell you, pump, I'm ready to fire.
Thank you.
So our inner lapa be do yesterday, and then the Oma started talking about the justice. Say that president, we are the one who's selling just to Jamaica resort. So I said, Mama, oh, she said, yeah. I said, you sure that we talking? She said, yeah. I said, so I can pay 2 hours. Nana will go back just to Jamaica resort. She said, my daughter, how you tell me say you pay my way? My son can pay my way. I said, okay, then Mama, go.
They'll go there.
By the time I said, let go, the story changed. So the other woman started talking. In fact, said we get proof because there's so many that can be on the street. They say that Jamaica resort they can buy the trust from. So I said, are you kidding me? Even me, Josephine P. Johnson, if I leave from here now and I go to Jamaica resort, I won't have easy access to Jamaica resort. How is that possible for the youth that are on the street, the at-risk youth, to just go to Jamaica resort and buy drugs? Let's start spreading hate message around. Let's start to stop spreading the lies. These are not good for our generation.
Surely.
If we are to make any political decision today, let it be based on facts. You cannot come and lie to the people only because you want them to elect you. If you want the Liberian people to elect you, make sure tell the people what you can do for them, what you have done for them over the last 12 years that they gave you. Tell them what you will do in their life that will make their lives better. The people cannot tell us that they will be telling the Liberian people they come and put AC on the street. That is impossible. It cannot happen. It can never happen. You cannot put AC on the street. So let them stop the lies, because I can tell anybody for free, they have nothing to say. They have no record. If you have a record, you have tangibles, you won't be lying to the Liberian people. In fact, I was asking somebody, where is the vice tenor bearer for the Unity Party from 2017? Yes, that's a question.
That person is supporting George Weah.
That's a question. That's a question. Before you can place a person on your party's ticket, it means that you and that person willing to work together. You have one vision, you have one goal. So within just few months, we saw things changing. It means that the people, they don't have any plan for this country. They don't have any vision for this country. They have no good records for the Liberian people to re-elect them. So today you have Jeremiah Kuhn serving as a vice tenor bearer. And we have Prince Johnson, who is their so-called godfather today, that is telling the Liberian people that old man Bwaka is old. He's old, he's sick, he won't be able to move around. How can you represent Liberia? How can you serve as the president and you are unable to reach out to your people? The other day, the staffers in the Senate, in the legislature, in fact, they wanted to have this program to endorse former Vice President Bwaka. And that program, they wanted to have the program in the rotunda. Not the rotunda, but the John Chamber. And do you know why, Sobo? Why they canceled that? Because I was working there, I know it, I heard it. They said that former Vice President Joseph Bwaka won't be able to climb the stairs.
Wow.
So they cannot have the program. Then you are telling us that the men will be going in the marshal? No, that Jeremiah will be running the show. God forbid. We sit down and allow that to happen, because we don't want anything to happen in this country. Anybody who serves as president of Liberia, that person is president for all Liberians. That person is not president for Nima only or for Lofa only. So the issue of tribalism should stop in these elections, because the people of Liberia deserve better. Since President Weah inherited this government, President Weah has been doing so well. He has been reaching out to all of the counties. He did not say, because I'm from the Southeast, so I'm only going to identify with people from the Southeast. He's been going all around, and the developments have been spreading in all of the 15 counties. This is what we want. This is what we want to see happening over the next 6 years. We want a president who will be president for all Liberians and not president for special county.
We'll come back to you. Let's just play the tape and come back to you quickly.
I'll start with this.
Okay, we're trying to go to Grand Judah where the Superintendent Carl Farley and some of his partisans there. In fact, where yes, it's where celebrating. What's it? We're trying to get a right clip. We're hoping that we can do that quickly. Let's just play the bars of this one and come back with
D12 on the beat.
All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. Born to win. I say I was born to win. Born to win. I say I was born to win. All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. I say I jump over it. Now all you keep on me, I jump over it. I say I jump over it. Now all you keep on me, I jump over it. They will see it. I say they will, yeah. So you vote to them. You don't let me say you vote to them. You vote to them. You don't let me say you vote to them. You over that you not make it.
Okay, let's see what we can get at him quickly. Okay, so Bwaka, you just listened to excerpts there from some celebration in Grand Judah County, where Carl Farley, the superintendent, and his cities and palaces, in fact, were jubilating and dancing all through the day. Bwaka, what's your impression? Very shortly, I'll be going across the country to speak with some more correspondents.
Well, it's interesting. The CDC appears is the only political party that can organize simultaneously a rally, not just across Liberia, but across the world. Mm-hmm. The last time we saw the Thank You rally, it was across the world. People in Germany were having rallies, people in the US were having rallies, people in Belgium were having rallies, people across Liberia, Cape Mount, Grand Judah, Nimba County. There's no other political party that can boast of that. That's the level of passion. That's the level of excitement that people have for the leadership of His Excellency.
Yeah, surely.
He's brought so much dynamism to power. He's not the regular politician who's at the face of at the helm of authority, who will do things, in quite the ordinary and unorthodox way. He does it in an unorthodox manner. Some of the times he hangs out with young people. Some people have talked about the fact that they go visit, hoping that they will meet it out of protocol, and then suddenly they're in the face of the president talking to him. You saw the picture of comedians that just were hanging out around His Excellency, and then he had a meal with them, a breakfast.
Yeah, sure.
With Joseph B. How they could call Paul Flemo and all the other guys. Not many presidents of Liberia
eating from the same pan.
Eating from the same pan, and they were joking, cracking jokes. that's the that's the man.
That's the human nature.
That's the humility that he brings to the presidency. But let me tell you a couple of things that are going to be happening today. I got this from one of the stars of the CDC, who told me that the gathering at the ATS is going to start at 6 a.m. this morning, and I'm beginning to see some images from the ATS. People went as early as 1 a.m. Some of the people went there yesterday to clean the place. You know that the government has been providing temporary employment opportunities for thousands of young people. Those young people wanted to show their appreciation for the president by going to the stadium and cleaning it up ahead of his rally there. So we expect that the stadium is going to start filling up at about now. People are beginning to arrive. We understand that's what the official program, by the way, starts at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Yeah. He said partisans from Bushro Island and the Gardensville area are expected to gather at the free port, from where they will march all the way to the ATS, according to this stalwart of the CDC. And then those from the West Point and Central Monrovia area will meet at the intersection of Broad and Lynn Street and then march towards the ATS. Those from Painesville, Rehab, and the 72nd Belt will make their way towards Congertown, the party's headquarters, where Chairman Molu and other party stalwarts will lead them to the ATS.
Okay.
And this is the news that he was just telling me. Now, we got no way to confirm this other news. We probably will confirm it during the course of the day. And some of the times this thing can change depending on the schedule of His Excellency the President. But he said the President is expected to pass around the world. When we say around the world, I mean, right? So basically, he's going to be passing from red light to Gardensville to Freeport, and then Central Monroe, then to the ATS. This is what the start of the CDC, sent us. Say this is exactly what's going to be happening. But basically, these are subject to change depending on the momentum, the time, and all of those different stuff. But I can only see that with the level of exuberance of the president, those around him can complain that some of the time they don't even have the level of energy he has. I'm talking about younger men, who in the president's cycle will be complaining, I don't get too much energy. I think there's a colleague and I, we were coming from the last time I noticed when the president having one of the rally, the second to the last rally in Mangibi. So we met this security guy. I said, man, what's up? He said, yeah, Minister out there. I said, how you looking? He said, man, I'm sleepy. He said, I'm too tired. I said, well, why might you say the man to get energy? And I said, so he's going to be moving about. So he said he's also expected during the rally to tell the Liberian people about his achievement. Then, he's going to present the manifesto or platform, of the CDC today at that rally. But the rally is going to begin at 3 p.m. But right now, people are beginning to gather. People are beginning to gather all over Monrovia. So we urge you, if you're in the West Point area, if you're in Central Monrovia, if you're in District 14, by the way, you know that big job we had district. So our men are going to try it already. They got the feedback. So yeah, District 14, District 16, right? District 16, District 17. So they have one small event where they stay in the middle of the road. And I will see all the pictures emerging and they send picture around. They go stay in the middle of the road. How you have rally in the middle of the car? Yeah. That's what the picture show.
And then
you have rally
empty.
Yeah, you have rally in the middle of the car and block the traffic deliberately. And they say, yeah, we shut Monrovia down. No, you deliberately blocked the traffic. And you did the same thing in 2017. And the Liberian people pay you for it. Because this is insensitivity.
Okay, so let's speak with the campaign spokesman of the ruling coalition. Councillor Bara is now on the line.
Yeah.
Councillor, good morning.
Good morning, Zobo. How are you doing this morning?
I'm okay, sir. So where are we? Are we prepared for the day today?
I think we are super prepared. If over-prepared were an applicable term, I would say we are even over-prepared.
Okay.
Our people are fired up. They are alive. They are excited. And they're just getting ready to celebrate the developmental legacy of our president. So, yes, we are more than prepared.
Okay, so just tell us, basically, as to what will be happening today.
Well, in terms of there are two ways to describe what is going to happen today. The first is about describing the atmosphere and the fanfare and the celebration, the jubilation associated with gathering. And then the second aspect is to talk about the actual program in terms of what is going to transpire today. So in terms of the fanfare and the preparatory stages, I'll start there. As we speak, citizens are gathering. They are sorting out the early morning prerequisites so that they are prepared to leave and get out very early. As we said before, it's important for us to conclude all the preparations at home very early because there is going to be a human deluge leading towards Central Town. So from the different areas, people are going to start trooping from the Newtown side, from the Gardnersville side, from the Painesville side. All of those areas are going to start moving towards Central Monrovia. That period is supposed to last between now and around midday or slightly after midday. That is in terms of the gathering. I've been informed reliably that Honorable Fala is going to be coming from the District 5 and the chairperson of the party, the biggest political coalition, Honorable Bob Akimolu, will also be leading his entourage from that angle. The president will also do a number of stuff. So from every point in the city, we are going to be moving towards Central Monrovia. Now, when we congregate around Central Monrovia and eventually the president comes to the ATS, a series of activities are going to flow from there. Principal amongst the activities that will flow from there, two things to highlight. Number one, the president will be unveiling the platform of the Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change. As you know, Sobo, we are a very serious political institution. Everything we've done in the last 6 years and everything we will do in the second term after clinching our first round victory has been clearly documented and laid out in terms of our macroeconomic policies. And so on today, the president will unveil the CDC manifesto to the Liberian people. And that manifesto, which I know I will find some time to come in studio so we can talk about, has 5 key areas. And he's not going to go into the details of that, but it will be the formal unveiling. And after that unveiling, then people like us will begin to unpack it on the airways so people understand what this president has in store for the Liberian people in his second term. After the unveiling, there are going to be a series of statements. As you know, the president is a very populist president. You will have people from the different unions, motorcycle union, the health workers, the teachers association. All of those are going to make statements. And those statements, as you know, are going to be thanking the president for what he has done in the areas of health, what he has done in the area of education, and in the different areas empowering poor people, motorcyclists, the marketing association will also make statements, and all of those statements will be climaxed by a statement from the president himself in response to those statements. So is that going to be a very long program? No. The chief things in those programs, in fact, 3 key things that will happen at ATS in terms of the program today will be that the president will unveil the manifesto of the party to the Liberian people, giving them an indication of where we are going from here. You have free school, you have the health sector being revitalized, the hospitals being built, you have more roads being built. What can you expect in the second term? The president is going to be unveiling the manifesto that details what will follow. And then after that, he will take the statements from all of these sectors and then we'll round it up. And then it's going to be just a massive celebration. I don't know if you listen to this song, but if you have listened, if you've been wondering who sang this song that has taken Monrovia, in a storm of late, you can come to the ATS because these guys will be there. They are going to perform that live at the ATS alongside other musical stars that have endorsed the president, like people like Takunje, KCW, Christoph, which is one of the biggest names in Liberian music. All these guys are going to be there, and they are also leading their own entourages to the ATS. So this is just a massive celebration of development in our country.
Now, what is the arrangement, Mr. Spokesman, for some of the partisans, the reactions, the seditions, or their leadership in rural Liberia?
Well, across the county as well as we are here, activities are also going to be unfolding in other counties. In Nimba, for example, where the Lord Mayor of the city of Monrovia has been spending some time of late. We are a very decentralized party in the different counties, especially the ones that are not close to Montserrado County. There will be other activities climaxing this launch in those counties. The adjoining ones like Margibi and others most likely are going to be in place. Logistics have been dispatched to those areas. People are printing their own T-shirts, but the party is supplementing with some T-shirts from their side as well. And so things are happening all across the country. This is a groundbreaking event. So
okay. Now we
in many respects.
Now we saw what happened. In fact, some weeks ago, when partisans again converged at the headquarters, very jam-packed, and we heard about some individuals falling off and all of that. At the ATS is possible. What is the arrangement, the safety arrangement?
Well, all has been put into place in order to ensure that our partisans and well-wishers and ordinary Liberians who are going to come there just to fraternize and engage and see the president are going to be very safe. Matter of fact, like I was telling somebody, the Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change boasts the largest auxiliary network across this country, one of which is the Health Workers Network. We have a particular auxiliary that is just made up of health professionals. They have taken that role of providing first aid at many of the events. And even when we were at the party headquarters, when the president came the other day, you saw just due to the crowd that some people were thinking, these are these health professionals that took charge and administer first aid to these people. So they will be there also at the ATS, ensuring that people are now unsafe, and if there are emergencies, that we can very expeditiously attend to those emergencies. But most importantly, in terms of safety, we will continue to communicate with the Liberian people. At any point in time when we begin to see that it is becoming unsafe for people coming, we will be on air, we'll communicate, and we'll make sure through our outside broadcasts and other things that people don't converge and the place becomes overly crowded. But in the meantime, it's time to troop to the ATS this morning and set up shop. Grab your space early. Because if you don't come out early, you might not have space. It is going to be a mammoth celebration today.
The president had already he already gone to about 6 counties, if I'm not mistaken. So after this big launch today, what do you expect? Coming up in the next in the following days.
So far as you know, the president is healed and hearty, he's healthy and energetic, he's prepared to move, he's not slowed down, he's not sleeping, he's not sleepy. He's just a very active person prepared to do the Liberian people work. So we are not resting on our laurels. After today, we'll probably take tomorrow off for a little bit just to recalibrate. And then on Saturday, we head to Bon County. We're going to spend a total of 4 days in Bon County. As you know, Bon County is the home and the residence of the number 2, who is interestingly enough parked in a garage. Is not a squanderer of opportunities. Is a very active, engaging vice president, very astute woman. Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor comes from Bon County. That is where the vice presidency currently resides, in Bon County. And I'm sure Bon County is not prepared to release the vice presidency anytime soon. And the women of Liberia also are not prepared for that, because it just speaks of gender equity that the feminist in chief, His Excellency Dr. Weah, has been able to put in place.
Okay.
So we head to Bon County, and we're going to spend 4 good days in Bon County. The president will engage with his people. He will engage with the vice president. The vice president also, a daughter of Bon County, will be there leading the charge into the various districts and areas, meeting our people. And that's where the campaign is going to take shape next. Straight to Bon County after we conclude with the launch. Many
thanks, Councillor Barra. We really appreciate your time on the line.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And let me say hats off to my colleague, Deputy Spokesman Boykai Fofana. I believe he's in studio with
you. He's here.
Doing an excellent job,
Surely.
of commenting on the issues. And there's one thing he said I also want to emphasize before I leave the line.
Okay.
I drove past the Susan Berry field just yesterday when it was empty. Susan Berry is in Congo town. I drove past that field and I was telling somebody, I said, on my bad day, I can fill out Susan Berry field. And that is the field that these people went and created the impression that there's so much of a crowd, and they just started to distort the traffic and keep us from moving. But it was just simply because they wanted, that was a provocation election.
Yeah.
They thought that the Liberian police will intervene and will say, look, it's favoritism. We're having our rally and
they stop us.
Police on us, but we're not interested in that. We are winning big, and we'll not be sidetracked by these kinds of childish ploys that they want to deploy.
Okay.
So let them go to Susan Berry and put their 100 people there and park their cars on the road and block the traffic. We will ignore them. We are winning the first round and will not be distracted. Thank you, Sabo.
Many thanks. It's Councillor Barbara. He's the spokesperson of the campaign team of the ruling coalition. Let's welcome Mr. Minister Isaac Doe, one of the stauncher members of the We Are Intellectual Movement. Welcome to the program.
Yo. Everybody want to Everybody now want to talk to one person, but all of Everybody, all of So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here with you. I should have been here by 8 o'clock. And unfortunately, the people are showing the other side that they believe in this country. And so I just could not make my way outside of my fence. I had tons and influx of people coming for different reasons. So we had to do the little we could do in our communities, at our various places, ensuring that our people are ready for this day. Whatever assistance we could give from the issue of provision of shites and berets and whatever we could do, we had to do all of it. Every single time I attempted leaving, you have the next batch coming. Every single time I attempted leaving, you had the next batch coming. And I was like, you know what? I think I don't know how many holidays our country Liberia has, but I think this is the first and the best of its kind, where you see the entire country is going to stand still. I was driving from my area here.
Fine, that's the question.
I was driving from my area here. Rain is little coming down. I just couldn't believe at this early hour of the day what my eyes were seeing. I saw people in their storm walking. So I decided to slow a little bit. And the other woman said, "Oh, Mama, how you doing?" He said, "Yeah, I said, I said, yeah, where you going?" He said, I'm going to 80. I said, "Mama, you get the." I said, "No, I saw her walk." I said, "You know what? This is crazy. What is going on in this country is unprecedented.
It is.
This is something like our eyes have never seen before." But the people appreciate where Liberia is, and they will show that to the Liberian people today.
Okay, so Boaka will be going to the lines to speak with some of our listeners. In fact, we're trying to go also to the counties to speak with some of our correspondents. In fact, this morning, we spoke with Prince Copeland, which county, River G County, and there's a lunch, the same lunch of the CDC campaign is taking place today in River G. And he said that since this morning, people have been gathering to go to the site where the launch will be taking place. So we spoke with our correspondent this morning. We'll be speaking with a few of them again. But you listen to Councillor Barbara. He said, well, today would be a very big program, but a very long program though. But the president will use that time to unfold his manifesto. What do we expect, Boaka? I know the We Are Intellectual Movement, you are very close to the organizers of all these events. What do we expect today that the president will have as key in his manifesto?
Well, I expect, that manifesto was tagged Power to the People.
Okay.
The first manifesto that the president delivered in 2017. In fact, it is out of that manifesto that we drew components, some of the sections of the Popo agenda for prosperity and development. So I believe there is going to be an updated manifesto where the president will be updating, because basically the president has a plan for the development of the country. It is four-pronged. It is based on empowering people, it's based on keeping the peace, it's based on ensuring that the economy is stable, it's also based on good governance. So he's
lifting out people from poverty.
The economy stuff. So he's lifting out people from poverty. So he's going to update the manifesto that he presented to the Liberian people in 2017, basically in light of some of the developments that have already been done, but also some of the things that he envisioned to be done. So those are things I suspect that the president is going to be saying to the Liberian people. Say, hey, we've done this. We promise you this. We've done this. We promise you this. We've done this. But there are more we could do. For instance, the president has been taken care of. This is something that, we've said it quite a lot, but it's unprecedented. In other countries, in the States, for instance, tuition is extremely expensive. People take loans to pay their kids' fees. Some of the time people save for years in order to be able to afford their children's college education. Surely. So in Liberia, what the president is doing is removing that burden from parents. So university education has been like the exclusive preserve or a certain class of people. The president is ensuring that social divide is breached, by ensuring that the people from West Point, Claratown, people from rural Liberia, poor families can, send their children to public institutions without paying, any fee. That the government's going to cover that. So, but I remember the president said during one of his programs, at the CDC headquarters, that they intend to expand that coverage. So what that expansion means, nobody knows. But I would like to think that maybe that you want to take it from the university level at the public institutions. We don't want to extend it to just universally cover all tertiary education, both public and private. Or maybe he wants to cover high school education entirely without just paying, not just focusing on the payment of YX fees. Maybe he wants to cover the entire tuition for high schools. So who knows? But he said that at the last program, the Thank You Rally at the CDC headquarters, he said with more resources, this is what I intend to do. So I figure that in that manifesto, those are some of the things you're going to be talking about. His achievements, but also the plans to ensure that ordinary people will have an opportunity. But one thing I know that the president has been quite keen on is infrastructure development. If there's any president that's been quite keen on infrastructure development, that president will be George Weah. Like I was mentioning earlier, the 133 years of the Chewy party government, we saw very little. We saw a president who ruled the country for like 27 years without much development to show for it. We saw another president who led the country, by the way, the Unity Party did the second longest serving after Tubman, did the second longest serving administration in Liberia. So after Tubman, the Unity Party spent the longest number of years in office. Do we have anything to show for it?
12 years, can you imagine?
12 years. All the president, Tubman spent 9, Doe spent 10, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf spent 12. When Joseph Barker was there,
that's where Joseph Barker was.
Joseph Barker was there for 12 years. President Weah has only spent 5 to 6 years.
Please call it 3, my brother. Please just put 3 there. COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Because we had an unfortunate incident globally that robbed us of some of the level of development that we wanted to carry out in the country. COVID was a global pandemic. Not only, firstly, a lot of people, we went to lockdown, there were curfew, we raised minimum revenue, but in spite of that, the president was still ensuring that because he cares about his legacy. Surely. If a man cares as much about his legacy, it means that he wants to do good, because he wants to be judged positively by posterity, future generations. Surely. When those people come about and say, "Oh, what did George Weah do?" Like say maybe a generation from now. Or maybe a decade from now, what did George Weah do when he was president of Liberia? This man was a soccer star. In fact, the elite criticized him that he was not capable and all of that. What did he do? Were the elites right or were they wrong? It turns out the elites were absolutely wrong. This man has built several hospitals, built dozens of schools, built modern parks, transforming the lives of ordinary people and all of that. And he's telling the Liberian people, giving the opportunity, I can do more of that. So I figure that's what his manifesto is going to include. He's going to be telling the people of Liberia, say, this is what I've done, and this is what I'm capable of doing. This is what I intend to do. So give me 6 more years.
Now, Isaac, what do you expect? You listen to the spokesperson of the campaign team, Countrywide, when he talked about the manifesto that the president will be releasing today. I think that will cover about 6, I'm sure, areas or 5 areas. What do you expect, to hear the president talking about today that will be very key in his manifesto?
Well, the president will basically be talking about new vision, again, for power to the people. The president will be talking about youth development, where young people are today placed top on the national development agenda. The president, of course, like Chairman Barker said, will be expounding on his developmental agenda. The president will be telling the people the more he's going to add on to what he's already done. So it's going to be a vision of continuity on the path of greatness for our country. The president will be telling our people the good more things that will be added on what he has already brought to this country. I know today our people are enjoying good loads of roads. And in fact, let me quickly stop on this good loads of roads stuff and think. It becomes a little funny of recent. For some reason, there has been this discourse, some form of discussion about roads here. I listened to my friend Mo Ali once on the other radio, one of the radios, talking about, this road when Unity Party was there. So I was like, okay, well, our friends weren't talking about roads around here. Why suddenly have they just started talking about roads? Simply because now we have roads. My brother said, well, nobody wants to talk about what is not there. Nobody wants to talk about what is not good. Once it is good now, it comes. Everybody then want to start talking about that good thing because everybody wants to put their hand on.
Okay.
But it becomes funny now. The president will be telling our people, listen, before I leave office, after the next 6 years, Maryland County people, you will be coming to Morroville on a paved road.
Surely.
You will be going to Lofa on a paved road. Today, I have started from Harper, I've come all the way to River G. Before I leave, I'm going to leave from River G to actually end in Ganta.
Yeah.
And the people of Lofa, I am at this point. Before I leave, you're going to see your roads right in your for the first time in your country's history. Some of these people will be seeing paved roads for the first time, despite the fact that they've got someone who always call himself the elders. According to him, the people should be voting on the basis of elders. And the elder of the town here will vote for you. Well, the people will be voting for roads coming to them. That's the reason why we are confident. That's the reason why when I was coming and I saw these people trooping their way to ATS, I just almost shed tears because it's remarkable. But I'll tell you, Sarah, the president is going to be unleashing his vision for continuity of the developmental agenda of our country.
Okay, so let's hear from you, Madam Johnson. What do you expect? What's your own expectation?
Okay.
Listen to the president.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The president have already started and working with the proper agenda.
Okay.
And I believe that he's going to continue. This president who has started building markets already, I know that in his message today, he will mention that the building of markets around Liberia is a process that is going to continue. I know that he won't stop it.
Yeah.
President Weah will continue to build more sport parks around Liberia.
Okay.
President Weah is going to continue building hospitals around Liberia. So everything is just about continuity, and maybe some of the things that we did not hear before, he's going to mention it today. So we know he's going to say a lot of good things today.
Okay. So let's try to go across the country briefly, at least few of our counties. Let's speak with few of the correspondents on the momentum in those counties. From our producer, I'm hearing that we'll be speaking with the correspondent in Grand Julia County, Paul. Paul Rance, good morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Oh, you have to adjust a bit because your line is terrible, please, Paul.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm okay now.
It's okay. Paul, I'm sure the people of Grand Julia, they're quite aware that the ruling coalition will be launching its campaign today. What have you to tell us? What's happening in Grand Julia?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Rightly, as you stated, the momentum has been building up for the past over a week now when the Grand Julia County local authorities started that robust campaign in the county. And so all of the auxiliaries and so supporters and the reactions across Grand Julia County have been told to come to Gretchen and they started arriving from yesterday. So today, as I speak to you, hearing of is giving a lot of momentum. People have gathered right now at the frontage of the county's maintenance of building where the t-shirts have been distributed and are getting ready to go in the street to do that grand march and 1 million members in Grand Julia County to pass the day across the country.
Now, when you say people have begun gathering, where are they? What are they meeting? Where's the meeting point?
Well, the meeting point right now is at the corporate palace. The corporate palace is the home of the council. It has the massive space that can accommodate up to 1 million persons. So this where the gathering is ongoing, but it's going to take a place of the bigger parade in yesterday, and then we went around the triangle where the movement of something is erected. And after that, we go to the Southern Triangle, street to the empty, and then we come back and forth, street to that. And it's also after the game, because I've been talking about sports is that the people are taking pictures and the streets are getting their side, and everyone is making sure that they become part of this valley today in Puerto.
Okay, so let's leave it at that. For many things, poor Rancy, poor is in the Grand Judea County. His land was very terrible. Well, we're trying to connect with other correspondents to hear from them from rural Liberia, basically to tell us about the momentum as the ruling coalition launched its campaign today. You're listening to the SMS, that's the Super Money Show, rated on the ELBC 99.9. Let's hear from Elvis Gono. Elvis, you are in the Upper Mangibi. Good morning.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be on the show. Good morning, Supper. And please always, to interact with Supper Judge on the SMS. Sometimes it's very fantastic. I'm grateful.
Okay, so what's the momentum there? I'm sure you're quite aware that the ruling coalition today launches its campaign.
This is what we've gathered so far, Supper, in this part of the country. When I woke up this morning at about 5:30 to 6 p.m., 6 a.m., winding route to Hope FM, and where this broadcast is being relayed, I saw a couple of market women in their t-shirts, and when I spoke with some of them, they've told me that they were on their way to the party headquarters, that is the campaign headquarters of the CDC. And I also was very instrumental to have spoken with H. Stephen Toh, who is the campaign manager. He said everything is said to ensure that they parade through the principal streets, and they will be sending delegation to Monrovia to form a part of the official campaign launch of the CDC.
Now, some of those you spoke with, Elvis, did they say to you what really is encouraging them to get into the streets or to form part of the launch?
Some of them indicated, especially with the issue that has to do with health. You know very well that the CH Training Hospital is one of the referrers in the country which got the fire, some years now. And with the involvement of the government, just in recent days, during the tour of the president, there was a groundbreaking ceremony. And what they've been able to say is that because of what the president has been able to do, first in the history in Mangibi for nurses, to have nurses' quarters. This is under the leadership of His Excellency. For him to have provided opportunity for their children to go to school. Those are tangibles that they've seen and have motivated them to support the CDC candidate seeking re-election in Liberia.
Many thanks, Elvin. Many thanks. Let's try to go to Underground Crew, River says or Sano quickly, and then we'll open the lines for those in Montserrado before we can close up at 10 o'clock. You're listening to the Super Money Show, right on the ELBC 99.9, Born to Win.
Begin at tunesliberia.com.
D12 on the beat.
All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. Born to win. I say I was born to win.
Okay, we pause this one to go to Emmanuel Kofa. Emmanuel is in Grand Crew County. Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And let me say good morning to the first follower this morning.
What are you following on there in Ground Crew? I'm sure you're quite aware that the ruling coalition today launches its campaign. What's happening in the Ground Crew?
Well, definitely, as you just put it, and I'm currently at the sport page, the Bible sport page, where citizens and sympathizers, including 1 million citizens, expected to come and grace the entire program, which is the official launch of the coalitions in Grand Crew. There's just a good sound showing for the fact just we experiencing a bit a rain, but a bit about a distance from the headquarters land at the sport page. But as we speak, citizens at the headquarters, they are gearing up so far, all of county administration, I'm seeing in a queue for some motorbikes, in a queue now, Madam Doris, who is the county superintendent. She's just arrived at the party headquarters, but a bit a distance from the party headquarters for now because of the music from the background. So I have to give the party headquarters at least a feed late to come to the sport page. But we get to on the overhaul, we get to get citizens, including partisans, where from the sport page yet the march or the parade will be starting to the city hall since the morning.
Okay, so you are saying some individuals, but not many yet.
Yes, not many, because we experienced a bit of rain this morning. But there are momentum in Grand Crew concerning about the launch. To be aware, the third traditional communities last night. Partisans had gathered at the party headquarters to also come and grace the program. So currently, as we speak, majority of the citizens, they are currently in Grand, or let's say in Barclayville, because some of them travel from Tron, Borough, and you have the Trimble, you have the Fopo, you have the Bois and the Playwood, statutory. Those statutory districts, they are currently gathered in Barclayville to come and grace the program.
Okay, many thanks, my co-founder. I really appreciate your time. Let's start to walk and go to River says, Carly, quickly. You're listening to the SMS.
D12 on the beat.
All I do was win. Wait a minute, boy, while we're still trying to establish contact, you're listening to our correspondents from across the country.
Like I was saying earlier, there is one political party in the Republic of Liberia that is capable of organizing this kind of global event.
Okay.
They've shown their capacity before. I remember it was a couple of months ago. I think it was a thank you rally, or I think when the president came from the US. But it was a major event, and this was held simultaneously across the country.
Surely.
So while there were large gatherings of people here in Montserrat, there were also similar large gatherings in Cape Mount, I remember at the time, Grenjide, in Nimba, and other places. So very few political parties have.
Okay, so let's hold you there to go to Sando County, where I hail from. I'm proud to say that. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Sarah.
Yeah, good morning, Saba.
And how you doing?
I'm doing good this morning, and you?
I'm okay. So what's the momentum like? Give us a description.
Well, this morning, the people of Sano are getting ready to start a parade from the beginning of the quota, today's CDC launching day in Sano County. So they are happy, they are jubilating to honor this program for His Excellency Dr. George Mani. We are in.
What is the weather condition?
The weather condition is good this morning. There's no rain that's falling, so it will be a great day for the people of Sino, especially the selection and people who believe in the work of Dr. George Mani. We are in Sino County.
Now, I'm sure you were able to speak with some of the people who are turning up to participate in the program. What are they saying? What is really driving them? What is encouraging them to come to the streets?
According to them, President, there are a lot of things that he's been doing, especially the fish mothers. According to them, since they started this particular business, it has only been the President, Dr. George Mani, who identified with a fishery group in Sino County. Some, materials, safeguard for those fishermen, and also giving them some money, to add their businesses up. So for them, to vote, overwhelmingly for the president in order so that he can continue what he started. And other people are also saying that, President, we are, from Sino County due to Satan being in Sino before and other history that followed suit. So they are saying they're going to vote for their son because, he's had good plan for Sino County. He has been the first person to give them solar light since the loss of electricity in Sino County over the past year after the Civil War.
Okay, many thanks. Sarah L is our correspondent in Sano County. But you see, Borka, Isaac, and Madam Johnson, the people seem to be keen on the tangibles. Yeah. They want to go and cast a ballot on October 10 based on the tangibles and that promises. If you listen to our correspondents,
or maybe the distortion that some of the folks have created for quite some time. They've underestimated the capacity of the Liberian people. The Liberian people quite keenly follow developments happening in the country. They've seen the level of intervention.
So finally, before Methuselah Gale from Rivers County is now on the line. Methuselah, let's hear from you. Good morning.
Good morning, Soba, and good morning to our guests in studios, especially from the CDC angle.
Okay, so what have you been able to see since this morning as the party launches its campaign today?
Soba, to be real and accurate, nothing actually is ongoing in Rivers as we speak. I'm just from the party headquarters, and I see nobody. And I was informed that officials and chairman of the party in Rivers are all traveled to Monserrato County.
Okay.
Except we don't know what the future holds, but I'm not seeing any activities of the CDC local branch in Rivers. But then immediately I placed call to one of the officials, which is the county information officers, and he said the officials have told him that there were nothing sent down to Rivers.
Oh, okay, he's off the line. Wow, we missed him there. He's off the line. But it seems that some of the county's leadership have made their way to Monserrato.
Yeah, because people want to be part of the center of gravitation anyway. Yeah, but regardless, it might be early days, early morning in Rivers, but maybe during the course of the day we're going to see some activities as we're beginning to see activities around the place. You call a couple of correspondents, all of them reported the fact that activities are happening simultaneously in their respective counties. So we were talking earlier about the fact that people want to see tangibles. People feel those tangibles. It is gross disrespect on the part of our opposition folks who've thought that just by coming on the radio and lying about things happening in Liberia, that the people would have bought into those lies. They underestimated the potential of the Liberian people, the acumen of the Liberian people. But one of the most politically conscious population you have in West Africa right now are the Liberian people. They can distinguish between, what you tell them and what actually is happening. They also know that on a single ticket they could elect the president, but not necessarily the senatorial or the representative candidate, or they could elect all of them or all of the different candidates. So that's how politically conscious Liberians have become. Part of it is because of the nudging that has happened in the last 6 years of His Excellency. There's been several by-elections. There's been several democratic exercises that we've had. All of them have been deemed free and fair. And one of the things that I should point out, that in the lead up to this October polls, we've had the first appraiser from the international partners. The first appraiser of the process so far have been quite positive from the international partners. I'm sure you saw their statement a couple of days ago where they said the National Elections Commission has been quite transparent and open and showing that they meet all the different regulatory processes. So the people are going to go out, and the president has committed himself to that this election is going to be free, fair, and credible. He's going to whip them on the first ballot. It's just because of what we were talking about. Tangibles.
Okay.
People see that the outlook of the country is changing. Roads are being connected. Let me just give you a parochial example before I look at the global picture. Look at rehab, for instance. If you were in rehab, if you are living in rehab, say 2017, 2018, you would have known that rehab is quite unlike what it is now. Now we have several bypasses, several different intersectional points and what have you. So if you don't even want to go on the road that is being constructed, you can go through several of the different bypasses that are paved now and reach your home. So when the president talk about it being, like a developed place, and some of the folks are making fun of it, that's a fact. That is a fight. And guess what? This is a man who's lived in the area and wants to change it because he's lived there. It is quite unlike the former vice president who lived in that area and all he cared about was his home. He didn't care about the community he lived in. He didn't care about putting lights in those communities. He didn't care about paving some of the roads, even around his house, within 5 kilometers or whatever. All he cared about was what was in his home. And this is a man who professes that he can change what is happening in the rest of the country.
He's a rescuer.
It is quite unfortunate. So look at the different rules. We were talking earlier about the Ganta to Saklipu rule, how it's been financed by the government. But you can also look at other roads that have been paved. We've paved more than 300 or 400 kilometers of roads, primary roads, as well as community roads and all of that. The president has built parks, has built hospitals, has built schools, has built housing units, hundreds of housing units across the country. Some of the places 100, some of them 50, some of them. If you multiply all of that, we're talking close to 1,000 housing units. And he hasn't given them to rich people, by the way. He gives the housing units to the poor people. That's not who the Matadi estates were given to. That's not the kind of people. That's not who the Babans estates were given to. They were giving the poor with money. The president doesn't even ask for anything. He built those houses and gave it to poor people.
Surely.
So when we talk about why the poor people are gravitating towards him, those are some of the reasons. He paid their kids' fees. He ensured that their kids have the same level of parity as far as tertiary education is concerned, secondary, tertiary education, as their the kids of the supposed elites in the country. And so those cases are beginning to do quite well.
Okay, so very shortly we'll go to the lines. We'll open the lines again for our people to call in. But let me hear from you.
Sure, thank you.
Mr. Doe.
Yeah, let's do it quick and then hear from our people. I think it's important to get the momentum that is from outside. And let me just quickly add 3 short things on what Obaka has said. First off, early this morning, I forgot when I was sleeping, my business sister called me. She lives somewhere in the Dixville area, so all the way in, and she called me and said, "Oh man, I know you're the city." You say, "Oh man, where you having your lunch at?" I said, "What do you mean? We're doing it 80 years?" But I see people all around my area, all the way in Dixville. Some of them were confused. I said, "But I said the people coming here or they going there?" I said, "Mama, this is CDC.
Yeah,
this is the reason why CDC is CDC." And the next thing when you speak to someone in a corner where nobody hearing to you, the person can say the real truth that is in your heart, what they believe. During our thank you rally, Obaka, myself, and some other of our friends, we were around the how you call that place? Where we were, Obaka, not fusion, but passion. We're at passion. The human being, I'm not sure if they were human being or something else because I just couldn't imagine what I was saying. We saw the party first passing. So when I was hilarious, my man, they think we just try out, they don't think but we know we can make it. They think we see look at human being. And when you talk to people in the corner, they tell you the real truth.
Yeah.
They tell you exactly what they think, where they stand. They already tell you that. And lastly, I went at a bank. I think it was day before yesterday. This Unity Party lady who was there, two of friends, they were talking, UPO, CDC. Yeah, there's me. I put that for Mr. Obaka in 2017, but the one I seen the thing, how can we waste my vote for somebody who will not win? So I would just vote for Georgia because I know Georgia are going to win the election. At the end, I will stop it. So all the rest I lost. I just threw about and say, are the right place you go here? So you see, the people everywhere know exactly what is going on. That is the reason why today you're going to see a burst of human being around this country. You're going to see seditions, even those who are not seditions, who sympathize with this president, who actually have seen what Liberia has been transformed to. Being on the street, telling the world that this thing is no man. This thing is not something we will do any joke with. This country is not a try and error joking country. We will move forward and you will see the streets so jam-packed. That's why I told my friends, listen, forget about England today, forget about anywhere today, because the blue tsunami holiday takes place today.
Okay. 0776-540-987. Okay? Or better still, 0880-514-096. That's the numbers to call. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabo. How you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Quickly.
This is Edward. We don't have a say for the re-election president. I'm all in blue, getting ready with my friend to move to the site. And we were confident today because normally they shoot themselves in the leg. They refer to us as stupid people. I don't care how many degrees you get. When you put the CDC pro on you, you are stupid. You don't know nothing.
I know, man.
You are so good. Then we are stupid. We don't know nothing. We are going all up to prove to our president that we love him and we're caring for the second term to complete our project. This is how we say to our supporter. While you are coming up for Ghana project, leave your voting card home. The only day you sort of bring that voting card out, it should be on the 10th of October because we don't want for you to lose your card. So you come on number 18 is the way forward. Let me hear it by day. Oh, the president was there for 12 years. They come by the kids and they will rest to us. Oh, the president that's on the phone that come to the can carry the line to us. They can rest to us.
Okay, many thanks. 0776540987. Let me take this number. They call quickly. Good morning. Good morning, Mama.
Good morning to
Good morning, Mama. Good morning. Say. Yeah. I know, Mama. We also today.
It's here the morning. I didn't say to that and what she said is true. I work at the capital building. They said that with the trust, the former vice president, who is not say that probably you don't pass it. So, president, they know how to say the
for you? I thought it wasn't true. Oh, wow. God.
So, right now, I thought that they are accumulating because rain falling. And when it comes to rain, we are not really not for a rain. We are in our number. We are going to mark for this number 6. All the way to 8 here, we are not going to run no car. I am a team. So thank you for having me this morning.
Many thanks. Then let's get the caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Trouble. Good morning to my colleagues in studio.
Okay. Your name, sir?
This is Daniel Thomas, and I'm calling you from District 4 this morning.
Okay, let's hear from you, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much. So, it is a very, very interesting morning here in District 4. The citizens of District 4 are all out in their colors, excited, and some are finding a way to the Anthony Johnson Stadium, while others are preparing for district engagements. What is intriguing is the fact that this is not just about members of the coalition for democratic change. But this happens to be basically focused on the people that we didn't expect to be a part of the program today. And who are these people? They are people who believe that the president has done so much more in their own lives compared to the past administration. And last night I was just having a conversation with a colleague, and something he said that interests me that I thought to, bring across. He said this election is more about the past versus the present. And if that argument holds true, let the past remain the past and the present prepares the future. Prepares for the future. So many of us that are out and supporting the president is doing this because of a hopeful future.
Surely.
And this future is one that encapsulates the essence of the ordinary Liberian people, developing them beyond the ordinary so that they prepare themselves for what lies ahead.
Okay.
So I'm using this time to thank my people of District 4, most especially for continuously giving us the support as a government to deliver the deliverables where necessary and to ensure that the lives are improved in all margins. And to my colleagues from the WIM, I want to say thank you very much, Isaac, to Waga Popana and the rest for all we continue to do. And I hope and pray that today.
Josephine Johnson,
Jojo.
Yeah.
So, and I hope and pray that today, despite all of the comments from honest and what have you, we can send a clear message to the world that indeed President George Weah is the same George Weah that we saw 2005, the same George Weah that we saw 2011, that magnanimously stood aside in the interest of country and allowed Councillor Winston Tottenham to run as a standard bearer for Congress of Democratic Change. Now 2017, last year, he won this election, and this time around, it is the same George Weah. He has not changed. The same God that took him through since 2005 till today is going to see him through, especially with the work that he's done in our country. So thank you so much, my dear brothers, and see you at the 8 years.
Many thanks. I think this caller also. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sober George.
Yes, sir.
I'm Charles Bruce, and I'm phoning from Morovia.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Bruce.
Yo. George, we are home run victory.
Yo.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's take this other caller. Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Prince Samuel, and I come from Painsville, my sick bay in Painsville this morning.
Okay. Wish you well.
It's so unfortunate that we involved in the accident on the 17th of last month after going to appreciate the president. So I will not be able to be part of the program today, but I hope and pray that things will be well and our policy will change up in the mass.
Okay.
Thanks for the opportunity this morning.
Okay. We pray for your speedy recovery as well.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Let's take this caller. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think, please permit me, I have an opposite view to this issue. I listened to the lady in the studio there. She said she had parked her car for the campaign purpose and she all on the street riding keke, eating color. So I'm saying the pretend is not really well with us as Liberians.
But man, you don't speak for the rest of Liberia, you speak for yourself. That you say for all Liberia. You know that thing that you know everybody can put and say when they're talking for themselves, they say Liberian people.
Very good.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
Okay, now the next thing about it, and I saw this brother saying that we will be out there, right? It's good for people to be out there because the money is there. They will go.
Nobody gave you anybody money.
I think
nobody gave you anybody money.
But he's off the line. We're not going to allow anybody to come through.
You know, but let me say something.
Let's take this caller first.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Okay, this is Ed Lauren Bobo. I always call from Foya, Tobacco, but this one I'm calling you in Monserrato.
Oh, you are in Monserrato?
I'm in Monserrato, Sabah.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Let me just say hi to the now president who got to renew the local Liberia life. And I just when I went for local shy, so when I see the era, president, we are the church and the other era. It's those that same need to be opposition. If you don't declare, let us sit down, let us all go slow so that we can all go together and move the way for development. So our concern is no fear. And I believe for you, they listen to us. Somewhere wherever my coordinator, the cabinet coordinator, George and Farah, I know where is prepared for this celebration. Our who will be on the 15th. So thank you so much. Please, Governor, this morning for your exposure. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks as well. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
That is Lawrence Keto, Commander General of Police Academy.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I want to be paying you the money for the opportunity to call on your platform this morning. Yes. I'm going to tell you this morning. In my own way, I thought when people still here, free of charge.
Oh, wow. I won't clap for you. I'm clapping for you. Free of charge.
But you won't talk.
Yeah, that's true.
So I made it when I get home. 100 or 200 go to the parliament free.
Wow.
So as the federal president, we are re-election. Nobody is coming to Jesus in free.
Amen. Okay, we take only 2 more calls and I'll wrap it up. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Well, sir, this is Aaron Zane for the rehab bill.
Okay.
Sir, the reality comment and facts I want to give you. Anyone who want to win this president, we are. Go in the head and bring charges up by. Period.
Yeah, because he's the only, I think, other populist president. That's probably what he's talking about.
Yeah, actually. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jim Sano. I'm driving from Tottenham Prayer. The momentum is gearing up. I just drove from Tottenham Prayer because of people that are going to Southtown. I think there's a gallery to Southtown.
Oh, wow.
So the momentum is all over. And I'm on my way to Monrovia, in my barrack. So, Jazria, we want to feature people on a first ballot so we can make noise. Because if we go to second round, there will be a lot of noise around the city. So one round victory, so for October 10th. Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks. Let me take the last caller. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. George.
Okay.
What do you get to what about those who are in studio this morning?
Okay.
So my name is Hussein Kew, and I phoned in this morning from around Jacobtown. So I just want to respond to what Kano said. Sometimes we have to come with honesty and sincerity to the conversation. Now he referred to the crowd, hundreds and thousands of Unity Party partisans and sympathizers who went to welcome Ambassador Bwaka, and he referred to them as just few hundred people. Now, like he said, Chief, that protect me. So like he said, he can put up such crowd. He contested in District number 3, and he was massively way by a Unity Party partisan, which of course in City Bashir. Now, so when people say this kind of thing, while it is true that you have your political side, but you should know that those things, the same people will follow you up. You understand? So I'm not saying that you doesn't have your own popularity, but you cannot condemn other people, in that point.
Okay, so you made a point. Let me take this last caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Stampo Jalawa.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Minister.
So I'm already on Lane Street, and the place is overcrowded. That's the first thing I like to say. In the first
Lane Street is already overcrowded, Mr. Minister.
Lane Street, I'm driving through Lane Street as we speak, and the place is getting overcrowded.
Wow.
I can say that.
This is crazy.
You can call anybody, or you send any of your journalists there to verify what I'm saying.
Wow.
So as God have mercy, even God, I'm finding it difficult. So yet, I can see even it's like the day is turning to a holiday. Yes. So that's all I'd like to say to you this morning.
Okay, let me take this last caller. If I continue,
that's the last caller.
Good morning. Yeah.
This is Pascal Davis from the Proposed Defense Team.
Okay.
Let me recommend and suggest, please, because I heard you saying I'm the last caller.
You are the last.
This is a party holiday, and so I don't know why the two ministers there, they are now also making recommendation that we extend the time for the program. Because
we gotta go to our radio station. If
I mean, this program should be until the council, and so until the OB can go at the ATS. We want to
the OB already there. The OB waiting for us, bro.
You want me to join the program? And I'm going to join.
That's the same last caller you. Reggie, good morning.
The other last caller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I speak, they just arguing now. The seed of human being.
Wow.
The people are gathering. The churches are built already from all the way to the bridge. Cars cannot pass now as I speak. People are trooping themselves to the ATM. I need also make an announcement now, at least to put a houses in their own district. The people are saying yes will be seed of human being. I'm saying yes.
Wow.
People are trooping themselves to the ATM.
Okay, many thanks. Let's leave it at that.
Last caller?
No, one more last week. And the 10th last caller.
We need a 10th last caller.
Walker, Madam Johnson, and Isaac. Let me get your part of comments. We can leave.
A couple of things I just wanted to state. Firstly, this election is about President George M. Weah, and I heard one of the callers talking about hundreds of thousands of people gathered in District 10. That is not technically feasible. So exactly. So that's a lie. So basically, that's why they wanted to project. So that's why the blocked the traffic. It was lawlessness 2 days ago that they had. They basically had Yeke Koluba and his stooges. They basically went across the street and blocked the road. Instead of going to Susan Berry Field to go and have the program, they came in the middle of the road. They were looking for provocation. They wanted the police to come out and say, leave the road. Oh, the poor fighting on this and that. And the police did. I was frustrated that I was in the traffic with my kid for almost 6 hours. But and I was blaming the police initially. But then I thought, in hindsight, I'm looking back and say, maybe it was a good thing the police didn't touch them. They said, move from the road. Because they would have blown it out of proportion. And there was another caller who was talking about, this is the arrogance of the Unity Party or some of the folks in the opposition. They sort of believe that the people that support them are the only people who are patriotic in Liberia. So when you don't support the Unity Party, they say you're not patriotic. This is exactly what Tilia Uric, Henry Kosa, and Benena Uric, all of them refer to.
All of them defend.
The sense of entitlement. They don't refer to the supporters of the CDC as patriotic or as Liberians. They call those supporters, the few handful that support them, as the Liberian people. Look, there are hundreds of thousands of Liberian people who voted for the Weah in 2017. 14 out of 15 counties voted for him. So if you're looking about what the Liberian people or believe in, we have a precedent, a numerical, statistical number of people that voted for the president. That is the only reference point right now that we have, unless we go to the polls in October to talk about what the Liberian people want and what the Liberian people think.
Yeah.
So for the Unity Party people to feel so entitled to talk about, the Liberian people will come out. Come on now. The Liberian people expressed it in 2017. They've been expressing it. They've expressed it in these campaigns. And when they come out in their numbers to support the president, they're going to be expressing that today. We're already beginning to hear that the ATS is already full. There is one official who just called in to basically state that he's worried that maybe some part of Central Bordeaux might not be big enough to contain the crowd. So, I just call on my Unity Party folks to be a little bit, open-minded and respectful of the Liberian people when they're talking about, what they believe and what they think.
Okay.
The Liberian people, encompasses a whole host of different segments of society, not just those who support Joseph Boakai.
Okay. Madam Johnson?
Okay, thank you. So what I'd like to say is, I think I want to conscientize our partisans, our well-wishers today to be civil in our activities today. So, because one thing I can tell anybody for free is that we have gotten so much to protect.
Okay.
As Liberians, we know that this government have achieved a lot, and that which we will protect. So we are asking all Liberians to be peaceful on today, be peaceful on October 10th, be peaceful in this whole period, this campaign period.
Okay.
Be very peaceful. We will go to the ballot box and re-elect President Weah, because we can tell anybody that if you say you want to unseat President Weah, we ask you to bring your CV, let President Weah bring his CV so that the Liberian people can be the judge on October 10th.
Okay.
Because President Weah got tangibles.
Okay. Mr. Doe?
Yeah, well, thank you. To my two distinguished colleagues, they've said it all. I just want to say it out. There have been many times where our friends from the Unity Party, we always seek to, make people get in the midst of CDC issue just to bring, this day should be very peaceful. This is the CDC's Blue Day. We will be bringing out human beings. You will have your day when you can bring out cars, because most often you use cars to black the bull instead of human beings. We will not bring cars there too when your cars are there. Please let us enjoy our day. Let us have our moment. Blue Day, happy Blue Day to all our revolutionary citizens out there. Let's get this done. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's just how we go home on this presentation of the SMS. Thanks to my Indefatigable, illustrious and hardworking producer, the man Melvin Stewart. Damawa has been behind the camera. Join me, that is on Monday. I understand Senator Sir Joseph Weah for 2 hours from 8 to 10 in the morning. And that'll be a panel discussion. Until then, Sir George is my name. There's no